Welcome back guys, my name is Mohan and let's continue with this series on Python. In previous video, we show the lambda function and where we have to use that. Now in this video, we are going to talk about arrays. Now we have worked with list, tuple and we know how those things works. So if you want to have a list of values with you, of course you can go with the list, or if you want to make it constant you can go for tuple. Now why array then? Now in array we need to have all the values of same types. We can have the same list with integer, float and string in one list, but that's not the case with array. So arrays are similar to list, but one different that you need to have all the values of same type. So if you say it's an int array, all the values should be of integer in array. There is one advantage here: arrays in Python, they don't have specific size. They don't have fixed size, which means you can expand, you can shrink, so it's quite flexible to work with. In order to use array, we will be using array, but then the problem is we will not be getting this array by default, right? So we need to import a module called as array to use this. So how would you do that? So you will say import array, right? And in this module array we have a function called array. So we have to say array.array. This is how you create an array. I know it's lots of array here. So if you don't want to use this array every time, you can say from array import. Now you can specify the function you want to work with, or you can simply specify star. So star means you want to work with all the functions, right? Now I want to create an array. Let's go for vals, is basically values. Okay, now I want to create an array, so you have to say array. Now we have to specify two things. The first thing is the type, and the second thing you have to mention the values. So I want to create array of integers, and the way you can do that is by saying I, because you are using an integer array, and you can give up comma and you have to mention a square bracket because that's how you represent array. Now in this square bracket you can mention the values. I will go for simple values here, so I will say 5, 9, 8, 4 and 2. And once you got this array you can print it. You have to say print vals. Now if I run this code, you can see we got our array. What if I put a different values here? Example, instead of having 8, let me say 8.5. And if I run this code, you can see we got an error. Error say integer argument expected got float. So of course you have to go for integer. Now can I have negative values? Of course we have, because small I means signed integer which tend to negative values to positive values. So when I run this code, so you can see it works. Now once we have done with that in array, we can use certain functions. Example, if I say values dot buffer info, now buffer info will give you the size of the arrays. So if I say run, you can see we got something. So this is a tuple here with two things. The first one is the address and the second one is parameter. There is a size which is 5, right? In fact we have some other method as well. I would say vals dot type code, which will print the type of the code you are working with, which is integer in this case. So you can see it is I, which is integer. Now what if you want to add a values? You can use append. If you want to remove the values you can use remove, and if you want to reverse the values you can do that here. Let's try. So if I say reverse and I print, you can see we got nothing cause reverse does not return the values. So if you want to work with reverse, you have to say wells reverse, and now you can see we got value reversed. Now what if I don't want to print values as it is? I want to print values one by one. It is possible, of course, right? It is similar to list, so we can use index number here, right? First, let's remove this because I don't want to reverse now. Here I go for loop. So I will say for I in range, and in bracket we have to say length of wells. So length of wells will give you the length, and you can pass to the range, right? And you can see it works. Now what if I want to do same thing using a while loop? Lots of people have this confusion with for and while. You can use while loop as well. Now the thing is, for while loop you have to use three steps. You have to use initialization, then you have to check for the condition, and then you have to do increment or decrement by yourself. So let's do that. We will say I is equals to 0. Now we have to check for the condition. So I will say while I is less than length of wells. Then here you will be say print the value of wells, and we have to specify the index number, and in the last we have to increment the value of I, right? Now let's run this code and you can see it works. So that's it for today guys. I hope you enjoying the series. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.